Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this stumble through of the other side of the hill from NAC Wargames. We are now doing the second operations phase from the summer of 42. I'm hoping, we'll see how time goes, but I'm hoping to get through that and maybe the fall of 1942 here in this video, but we'll see how it goes. So we start with strategic warfare. So I am rolling 2 dice, and one of them is a gray die. Let me just get that set up over here. So there's my dice. And let's go find out how much the allies are rolling. They are rolling 1. So you can see that 1941-42, their column says 1. So they are rolling 1 die. And so they got an air and I got a hit. So to remind myself. So that is a hit. And I have a hit. So if Axis hits equals Western hits, no effect. So strategic warfare has no effect. Okay. Movement. Now movement's going to be kind of critical this turn because I have some challenges going on with my offensives. And I think I need to shore them up a bit. So I think I'm going to take sort of a chance down here. I'm going to move this army to Stalingrad. Am I going to do that? I'm going to move this army here because I have got to get 2 advances here. It's kind of the same thing though. I need to... I'm attacking into plains there and rough there. So I'm going to get a little bit more going on there. And then we'll move this army, this affiliate army to the Don Volga region. And let's see, anything else we want to do for regular movement? I'm going to say no. Now I want to take a quick peek at strategic movement because I might want to move this unit onto the Russian front. 1 second. Okay, so one thing I wanted to just check, I could only move 3 armies on this front this turn, and I think I'm okay because I moved 1 army here, and I moved this army here, and I moved this army here, I only moved 3. I don't remember which 3 I moved. But I didn't move more than 3, and I hope I didn't, and if I did, you can let me know in the comments. But to do strategic movement, which we're going to do from here, that counts as I get a number of moves equal to my German air naval control, so that counts as 1, and then I can move it there for 2. So 1 to go into the strategic movement box, and then 1 to go out of it. So... in fact, what I think I'm going to do, now that I think about this, I'm going to actually move that one during operations movement. I'm going to move that one to there, and I'll move this unit into there instead. So with that, I think I'm done with strategic movement. Now I want to move some air units around. I have a little bit of a problem here, though. This is going to be a little bit dicey. I took a lot of Luftwaffe losses last turn. You know what? I am actually going to leave the air naval combat in the south alone. I am going to reduce it there on the western front. And just raise that there. But that is all I'm going to do. I'm going to hope I can get away without needing that extra white dice. There. I don't want to move this too far down because I could end up isolated down there in Libya if I'm not careful. So I want to be a little careful about that. Okay, so that is movement. Now command. Okay, let me just check something. I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have to make dismissal rolls for all of my generals that are on their question side. So you see that 7-4 on that sort of on that token there. That represents the or the 5-4 here. The 7 or the 7 or the 5 represents their seniority. It's the same as the seniority on their card. And then the other number represents their I forget what it's called in the game. Let me find that out real quick. So it's called the confidence factor, and essentially it represents how confident I think people are in this general. So basically, I'm going to be rolling a die against their confidence factor. Okay, sorry, I was checking something. So I'm rolling. If it's lower, he stays in his position. If it's equal to, I'm not 100% certain what to do because in the rules it says that he becomes a dissident, but the thing is, I think dissidents only happen in the multiplayer game because they involve putting black orchestra cards on your faction mat, and it says kind of early on in the solo rules that you ignore that sort of for the solo and co-op games. So I'm hoping I don't roll equal to because I don't quite know what to do, and if I roll higher, they're essentially removed from the game. Basically there's a loss of confidence and they're removed from the game. So we're going to roll for von Kukler, and we are going to roll for von Wittgenhoff. So let's go over here, and we'll actually change one of them to a different color. So we know. So the teal one will be the army group head, and the white one will be the leading general who's being questioned. So, well, that's pretty easy. So both of them stay in command. Okay. Had one of them been dismissed, then I would have had to replace them, and we would have gone through that, but that didn't happen, so we don't have to deal with that. So now we are back to the Axis offensive. I got my 2 pawns again this turn, so I'm going to put 1 pawn, actually 1 pawn there, and 1 pawn here, and then we are going to do our offensives. It doesn't matter as much which direction I go this time, I don't think. So we're going to start here in the Caucasus. We'll start here anyway. So let me just confirm I'm attacking into rough. So let's go look at list. So he's attacking into rough. If there's at least one regular or panzer army, cancel the additional allied die roll for rough terrain. You know, I think up here I forgot to give myself an extra die for that rough terrain. I forgot to do that last game, so we'll have to try to remember that. So he cancels the extra die, so that's a good thing. All right, but before we do anything, we got to draw a combat card. So they get 4 dice on defense, no special markers, so we're just rolling 4 dice. So now I got to go find a general to be my leading general here. 1 second. Okay, so we're going to appoint Edvald von Kleist as our leading general. He's going to add 1 hit to the Axis combat roll for every, I assume that's a black die that's rolled. So we'll be rolling 1 black die. So I am rolling 2 gray dice, white die, and a black die. We are in rough terrain, but they do not get the bonus for that, and I don't get a bonus for air. So see what happens. All right. So there are no events that need to be dealt with here. So the first air is going to reduce my air naval in Russia again. And the second one, I'm pretty sure, becomes a hit. Each subsequent roll is 1 hit. So they have, therefore, 4 hits. Tanks only count as 1 because we are attacking into rough terrain. I have 3 hits, but I get +1 for the 1 black die that I rolled, so I actually have 4 hits. So with a victory, I advance, and then I am able to take a reduction to advance again. And so at least down here, I have fulfilled my objective on the Fall Blau card. and have reached Baku. Now they will actually continue to attack out of the Urals here. I can't attack into the Urals. So literally the war with Russia will never end. And there will, I think, like there will inevitably just be a pushing back into that goes on. All right. So that is there. So now we're going into Astrakhan, and that is plains. So I'm going to just look at what von Weich's gives me, just so that I know going in. It should be somewhere near the top, right? Yeah, there we go. So he only helps when I'm attacking into rough. So he is of absolutely no use here. But because I'm attacking the plains, I think I got some good leading generals. But let's start by finding out what happens here. Again, they're going to be using 4 dice. So same result. No special combat dice to deal with, but I've got to deal with 4 dice. All right, finding a leading general. Okay, so we have assigned Werner Kempf as our leading general. And essentially what he's going to do is he's going to allow us to roll a gray die for one of these 2 reduced armies. So in essence, we're rolling 2 gray dice, 1 white dice, and a yellow die against these 4 Soviet dice. So let's see what happens here. Okay, holy cow. Wow. Okay. So, okay, sorry, that's a lot of stuff to deal with. Okay, so we've got 2 events we have to deal with. So let's just start with that. We've got 2 events that we have to deal with, 2 combat events. It's the Dieppe raid. Roll 1 Western die. If the result is a hit, reduce 1 German regular army. So it's a hit, so we have to reduce a German regular army somewhere. Well, I guess let's reduce that guy. That's not great. Okay. So that goes out of the game, right? And then second combat card. Hey. Hitler takes over the command of the army group. If the USSR or so I think the combat result is going to be a victory. We'll sort of double check that, but I think it's going to be a victory. So I think we're going to not have to deal with that. So the Russians have 3 and we have 5. This artillery counts as 2. So we have, oh no, that artillery doesn't count. It only counts, go back to that side. There you go. It only counts as 1. Sorry, it counts as 2 on defense. But we still have 4, which actually gives us 1 more than our Russian counterparts. So we actually manage to advance into Astrakhan and occupy it. And I'm now realizing that one thing I forgot to do is I forgot to take my resource when I took the Caucasus. When you take control of these things, if it has a resource mark icon, you get that. So that is cool. We actually fulfilled the requirements of that card. So that's really cool. All right, but now it is our opponent's turns to go. So Western allies, the first thing they're going to do, we'll find out if they're going to do a landing. And landing would be in fall. It is not fall, so they are not going to land. So we are going to take and place their combat pawn here. And we'll see what they're going to do. So, sorry, dealing with the barking dog for a second there. So they have an air symbol and 2 dice. So let's get these Soviet dice out of the way for the time being. So they have 2 dice. And that air symbol, reduce 1 axis. Oh, no. Sorry. Roll 1 Western combat die for each air symbol. Subtract 1 from the air naval control if at least 1 result is rolled. Okay, so we'll do that in a second. But for now, we have to assign generals. So First things is we've got Kesselring here. He's head of OB South. Where's Kesselring? Oh, I'm in the wrong pile. Jeez. There's Kesselring. So his ability is defending in rough, which we are doing. If his marker's in the OB Sud box, roll 1 additional gray die instead of 1 white die for the rough terrain. So, oh shoot, I forgot to give the Russians an extra white die here down in Baku. I think that was a pretty overwhelming victory. So hopefully that didn't make a huge difference. And they don't get a white die, they would have gotten an extra die. Shoot. Hopefully that didn't make a huge... if I'm recalling correctly, that was a pretty overwhelming victory. So I have a feeling that that is okay. Okay, sorry about that. See, still stumbling through. So, and he can go over, or can go over there. So we're going to get an additional gray die. And this being Africa, we're going to actually pull Erwin Rommel to be our leading general. In one German army is considered the immediately superior type. So that's going to be considered a Panzer army. So what that means is that we're rolling... sorry, dog's going off again. So we're rolling... a gray die for the rough terrain, a black die for this thing, which gets up leveled by Rommel, and then 2 for the Italians. But before we do that, we got to roll for that air symbol, and it's a tank. So luckily we don't lose anything. I mean, it's not adding anything to us here, but the Luftwaffe has just been devastated this turn, and I don't have enough replacements to make that all good. So now we roll for the combat. Okay, so air is going to reduce the Luftwaffe by 1, but we got 3 hits to their 1 hit. So that means we are the defender. Axis hits no retreat or reduction. So we simply stay where we are. So we beat them off beat off that attack in Libya. Now, Rommel has a special ability that if the combat result is in a defeat, you can put him back in the available deck. So if he doesn't get defeated, he doesn't end up. He can come back and get used more and more and more every turn. All right, but now it is the Soviets' turn, and the Soviets are going to be attacking here. They will be attacking here. They will be attacking here, and they will be attacking here. So even though they don't have anything here, right? Same as here. They're going to be attacking across these lines. So this is one of the things is that you never ever defeat Russia really in this game. You just got to kind of sit here and take punches from them out of the Urals forever. And eventually they'll probably end up beating you back. So we'll start up here. We are defending in rough terrain. Von Kukler. I don't remember him being super helpful. Georg von Kukler. Oh no, we can cancel the special effect on the combat card. Okay, well let's draw the combat card. They don't have, on attack, they basically just do that winter icon, and it's not winter, so essentially they do not launch an attack up in Leningrad. Now, will they launch an attack in Belarus? Yes, with a reduction and 3 dice. So let's pull these guys down. We'll grab 3 Soviet dice. And we are defending into a river, and we've got von Kluge. So let's just remind ourselves what von Kluge does here. Okay, when he's defending, he cancels the special effect in the combat card, so we won't see a reduction. So now we need to defend, and we've got 2 affiliate armies. Things are getting a little dicey. Let me find that leading commander and come. All right, well, we are running out of generals with useful effects. This is about the best we can do here. Georg Hans Reinhardt. We can change any one result in a gray die for a tank result. So it'll be helpful if we roll a miss or something. Okay, so we are rolling. We are rolling white, 2 yellow, and a gray, and they are rolling 3. Holy cow. Well, we can change this for a tank result, but it's not going to help too much. So, first things first, we got to resolve the combat event. Oh, you know what I needed? Sorry, I didn't use this because the result was a victory. And so what I need to do is that goes back onto the bottom of this pile. Sorry, that should have been there. So let's draw another card. 28th Mouth and Infantry. Is not. Cancel 1 hit from the Allied combat roll in this combat. Roll 1 Soviet die. Okay. So I can cancel 1 hit. That may just have saved me. But now I got to roll this dice. And any other result I put it, so because I didn't roll a hit, I am going to put it in this pile so it can come back next turn. Wow, the 28th Mountain Infantry comes to the rescue. So air result continues to whittle down the Luftwaffe. But in the end, we have 1 hit to 1 hit. So that is no effect. I think, right, nothing happens. Oh, no. Axis hits, applies 1 reduction or 1 retreat. We're going to apply a reduction. All right. Still, could have been worse. Let me just look real quickly. You know what? I am going to... No, if I apply a retreat... I was thinking I would apply a retreat, but if I apply a retreat, then this area becomes disputed and I would lose that resource. So I'm going to remove that reduced army in order to sort of keep control of that. All right, now we move on to the Don Volga. Oh, reduction in 3 dice. Oof. All right, who is my Von Vikes? He only helps when we're attacking into rough. We're not attacking into rough, that's for certain. So, got to find a leading general if I can. All right, well, I think it's time to have Ernst Busch enter the picture. He is going to roll 1 gray die, and if the result is a hit, I can cancel that reduction on the card. So come on, Ernst. No, it is not a hit. So I do not cancel the reduction on that card. Okay, so before combat, I have to execute a reduction. So I'm going to reduce that. So I am rolling a gray, a white. Oof, boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is ooh. All right, well, pretty simple. Air hit reduces that to 1. I wonder if they get to roll an extra die now. Let me check that. Okay, well, it only applies to the Western allies, so that's a little, that icon there is a little confusing, but it would apply if it was on the West, if the Western allies were involved, but they're not. But so we now have a tie. So I am back into a situation where I have to apply a reduction in order to not retreat, which I don't want to do because I want to fulfill my military objectives. And I will note that one of the reasons I'm taking out the German reduced armies is these never come back. If you take those off the board, they never come back. So at least the German armies I can replace. It's going to be a hard front to sort of defend, though. All right, well, at least here attacking into Baku, they're attacking me into rough terrain. Astrakhan, that is going to be really hard to hold, I'm afraid. Going to be really hard to hold on to. Okay. So let's draw a card, find out what the Soviets are going to do with this offensive. So let's see. So, oh, they're not going to do anything. If it was winter, I would be reduced, but they are not going to actually attack on that in that particular area. All right, so that is the end of the Soviet offensive segment, whatever, phase. So military directives. So we checked the objectives, and the objectives have been met. I am occupying both Baku and Astrakhan. So the objectives have been met. So success, I put a no Soviet offensive marker in Area 12, which is the Caucasus. So what that means is that next turn, let's see, where are those tokens? Next turn, they won't be able to launch a Soviet offensive into here. So this can be a little bit calmer next turn. And then were we playing in the multiplayer game, there'd be a bunch of like prestige that gets awarded. So that's a really kind of crucial concept for that. Okay, supply check. So the supply check I got to do again is here. Not the same deal as last time. I'm only adding 2 this time. So basically, I need to roll a 5 or better. So that port closes. So those are all going to be isolated, I believe. Let me check and make sure I know what I'm doing here. Okay, sorry. So the port is closed and I'm isolated. So I can't trace supply back to an open port or anything like that. So, or, you know, because this is neutral. So they're isolated. So what that means essentially is that this will be rolling a white dice next turn, not a gray die. I mean, Rommel could help with that, but okay. Sorry. And then we have the victory check, and I don't have anything in here, so the turn is not ending. So that took a little bit longer than I was expecting with a few things, but it seems like a good place to end. So we will come back next time. We'll be moving into the fall. I'll get a chance to build up some of my depleted forces, hopefully. And hopefully the Soviet offensive won't be too annoying. But I'm going to be at an increased risk of a landing probably down here in North Africa. So we'll have to figure that out next time. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you're finding this game interesting and this playthrough interesting, or stumble through interesting. If you are, it would be great if you could leave a like, and definitely comment if you see things that I'm doing wrong, or if you see things that I could be doing better. That would always be appreciated. And obviously, if you are enjoying the channel, it would be great if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell. That really helps out the channel. But with that, we will end here and just say see you next time on Agility Snips Gaming Table.